Green flag at the back. We're about to go racing for the touring cars. The revs are up. The noise is on. The lights are on and off. And down towards Allard we go. And it's another cracking start, as you would imagine, from the Laser Tool Racing with MB Motorsport car of Jake Hill. And through on the inside of Dan Camish goes Ash Sutton. Sutton gets up into second place as they come round towards the complex. He'll hold that on the inside. Camish trying to fight off, but Camish better give that one up rather than lose the position.
That's right, he's up the curb though. He looked like for a moment he might challenge Jake Hill, but Sutton over the curb, that just unsettled the car a touch. What about Tom Ingram, because he's right on terms now with Camish as they go up towards Noble. Josh Cook has got himself up into 5th position as well, but he's got a BMW up the inside a bit further back. Was that Colin Turkington progressing? But Jake Hill leads as they go through Goodwood, but with Sutton going after him, unlike what we saw in the original start in race 1.
Well, it was Morgan or Turkington, that's for sure. I think it was maybe Morgan going past Chilton at that point as we ride on board with Tom Chilton and also look towards Church Corner with our eyes and see the drivers coming through there. The cars bouncing about. Chilton, I've got to say, Ingram looking very good on that one. Camish defends towards the inside because you can see Ingram with the better run through the corner. Sutton looking at the back of Jake Hill. Jake Hill covers in towards the chicane. Camish fights off Tingram. Does he? Yes, Tingram through the chicane. Naughty. He'll have to give that place back. Tingram forced between the tyre bundle and the recticel, and that really helps Josh Cook now. He comes through ahead of Camish because Camish left the room on the inside for Tingram, but Tingram wasn't there.
So here they come down towards the complex. Ash Sutton looks to the outside, brakes really late, and that means Jake Hill's having to defend behind Josh Cook. He's trying to get round Dan Camish, who's run out a little bit wide, but Ash Sutton into the back of Jake Hill as they go in towards the final part of the complex. He's got lots of momentum here, has Ash Sutton, and this might allow Tom Ingram to close in towards Noble they go. Ash Sutton looks really quick here, Duncan.
Yeah, Ash Sutton looking menacing. He needs to get past that BMW now if he can. Hit an ope there.
Just to interrupt, behind me, Andrew Watson's had a big incident. So his car's in the infield and Marshall's heading towards him.
Yeah, see Andrew Watson off there. We can see that. That looks, is that just out of turn 1 coming round towards you?
Yeah, it's sort of completely opposite to me. A long way off the circuit. So through that kink, obviously something's happened.
Yeah, we're waiting to see if any safety car lights come on for Andrew Watson just now as the driver's making their way back up towards the top of the club chicane for the second time of asking. Sutton is looking menacing. You hit the nail on the head there, but he's now got pressure coming in from Tom Ingram as they come over the curbs. Last time through, Ingram took a shortcut through the chicane. I'm surprised that nothing's popped up and he's not having to give time back for that just yet. But Jake Hill under immense pressure from these guys as they head round turn number 1 just now. Hill from Sutton, from Tingram, from Camish.
Yeah, so they go briefly into this yellow flag zone where Andrew Watson's being dealt with, but then there's the green flag into the complex. Here comes Ingram, who looked up the inside of Sutton, but Sutton managed to cover that off. Dan Camish now is there as well. So the top 4 right together. And remember, for Tom Ingram, he's got more hybrid boost to use during the course of this race, and the 2 cars ahead of him. So Jake Hill, unlike in race 1, is having to defend quite a lot to the cars behind. Through Noble they go. It's Hill, then Sutton, then Ingram, then Camish, all in the lead battle. Meanwhile, good news for Andrew Watson. He's managed to get out of the car. He's okay.
I was just about to say that in the background of that long shot, we could see Andrew Watson walking away with that typical racing driver, not happy walk through the long grass. You now pick him up on the main screens there. Wave to the crowd from Andrew Watson. Shame for Andrew Watson, but thankfully he's okay. He will be back. Sutton a little bit wide on the exit of Church. That's going to hurt his drive. Here comes Tingram, catching him in the Bristol Street Motors car all the way up towards the back here. The Accelerate Hyundai. Can he go up the inside? No, he can't. Sutton covers that one off beautifully, and it stays as you were in through the chicane. 1, 2, 3, 4. Camish has done really well, by the way, in my eyes, to not only overhaul Josh Cook, but also to get back up to the back of Tom Ingram, because when they came in side by side to the chicane, Josh, he actually stayed way wide to give Ingram the room to go through and inside, but Ingram wasn't there. He'd shot through the chicane short, and then that cost him on the exit of the corner. So Camish being a gentleman, but really biting him in the bum there.
But he's got the pace, hasn't he? And as you say,
he's
caught those ahead. Behind you've got Cook, Rowbottom and Adam Morgan. So it was Morgan who was making progress at the start. He's ahead of Tom Chilton. They're not far behind the top 4 cars. They're heading up towards Noble, the left-hander. Through there they go, and with Jake Hill with much less hybrid boost to use in this race is having to defend, so we'll have to See if we can see when those use a hybrid. A big slide though for Ash Sutton on the way up towards Church Corner.
Lordy, that was a code brown moment in that car. He wouldn't have lifted out the throttle. He'd have kept that one buried. Yeah, let's talk about hybrid. 1 lap for Hill, 1 lap for Sutton. 4 laps for Ingram. That's going to really help Tom Ingram, and he's going to be trying to use that at the right possible point as much as he can. 1 lap for Camish and 4 laps for Cook as well as they make their way up and in towards the club chicane again. But that lurid slide for Ash Sutton. Well, it's not uncommon for us to see Ash Sutton doing things in the car that other people can't do and sliding around. What is uncommon for us is to see one solo BMW at the head of the freight train, and the next one, don't take us the wrong way, being Adam Morgan down in 7th place, Colin Turkington in 9th place, having an uncharacteristic off weekend. It's just not worked so far. He had a great Brands Hatch, but at Thruxton, not working for Turkington. It's Hill who's doing the West Surrey honours right now.
And Josh Cook and Dan Rowbottom almost with the top 4. So shortly it's going to be a 6-car battle for the race lead. So for Jake Hill, who had all the pace in race 1, with that 1 lap left of hybrid boost to use, is unable to pull away then from Sutton as they go through Noble Corner once more, coming up to that point where Sutton had the big slide. If you look on the big screen,
replay the big screen, he took too much curb going through Goodwood Village area, and it just bounced the car sideways, but it was a prolonged slide.
Keep a good look at the front of Ash Sutton's car as well, because the splitter is a lot lower on the left-hand side than it should be.
Smoke coming off the front left. Has he chapped that splitter on the ground? Is it? Yeah, the splitter's detached. The splitter's detached now, so he will hear that. That will be acting like a sail. Here comes Tingram. Tingram knows his lane right now. Is he using the hybrid? Nobody passes as they come up towards the club chicane. Tingram pulled out and went straight past. Ash Sutton will not only feel that, Alan, but he'll also hear that inside the car. He's taken a big chunk out of that somewhere. Was that when he hit Hill in the complex?
I don't know. It had been hanging down, I thought, from very, very early on in the race. Didn't see how it happened, but the way it stands at the moment, the ride height roller would not fit underneath that car, would it?
I don't think that's going to see the end of the race. That board, that splitter might end up coming off that car. The way the vibrations, you can see it on the screen as he comes up towards where Josh is just now, and he'll hear that and feel that in the car, and that's going to have a negative effect now, Alan, as to how this car handles for the remainder of this race. But also, as you say, he'll go into technical check, absolutely dreading to go in there, and I think that happened when he got into the back of Jake Hill as Tom Ingram goes off track, drops a wheel off the edge of the track going through Noble before he goes in towards the extremely fast bit of the circuit of Goodwood and Village down towards Church. They come. We're on lap 6 of 16 right now. Camish with the fastest lap of the race, and still Tom Ingram sits in 2nd place and keeps a hold of all of his hybrid. He got past Ash Sutton without having to deploy any hybrid. That's a key move. Sutton coming under huge pressure now from Dan Camish. He knows he's not right. He knows he's lame. Does he do the team thing here and let the guys go, or does he try and fight for every single point possible in the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship? I'm going to go for the second option. He is not going to want to give points away in this, but he won't do anything silly as they go into lap number 7 and head round towards the complex.
Yeah, so Jake Hill, here he comes. He's got Tom Ingram, who's got a lot more hybrid to use than has Hill. So where is Tom Ingram going to make the most of that? Ash Sutton's gone in deep with that splitter damage. It's really affecting the handling of that Napa Racing Ford Focus. But Dan Camish can't find a way through yet. Then you've got Josh Cook and Dan Rowbottom chasing. And behind, Adam Morgan's been caught by Colin Turkington on the last lap. Colin Turkington was the fastest driver on the circuit, half a second faster than the race leaders.
Good to see Turks has woken up. That's what we could do with. We could do with some Turks time, that's for sure. And West Surrey could certainly do with a bit of help. Sutton using grass over the curb, using grass going through the Village down towards Church. That is a seriously brave bit of driving, but he's trying to probably battle a car that's not handling perfectly, but taking big chunks of the circuit with him. But he's out of Church just now. Here comes Dan Camish again, building. He goes left, he goes right. He's going to pass Sutton. He's already made the manoeuvre stick as they come up towards the club chicane. Next on Sutton's defensive list, he has to go against Josh Cook, and then the incoming Dan Rowbottom. But yeah, a fair bit of damage, and a great spot by Alan Hyde down there in the pit lane to pick that up. And I clearly missed that, but as soon as you said it, Alan, it was so visible on the screens, and as he's actually driving past us, that car is in not the greatest state right now.
Jake Hill defending from Tom Ingram here into Campbell Corner. So a big attack this is from Tom Ingram to try and take the race lead as they turn right then out of the complex. So far this year we've had double winners at all the previous races in race 1 and 2. Tom Ingram would like to change that statistic in this race as he puts lots of pressure on Jake Hill, who has to dab the brake going through Noble, so not feeling the confidence that Tom Ingram has behind in that Hyundai i30N. He's going for the lead, Duncan.
He is going for the lead. He's also used the lap of hybrid to get right onto the back of Jake Hill. Ingram on the hybrid as they come through this area of the track right now. The hybrid being deployed on the outside. He comes off the hybrid button. He turns back through the heart of Church. This is a typical Ingram move. He just needs to get alongside, and he has done it. We've seen Tom Ingram do that so many times, and he executes the pass to an applause from the Thruxton crowd here as he comes up and in towards the chicane. Tom Ingram going for his 30th ever touring car victory this weekend as he comes through the chicane, and the crowd go wild for Tingram, who's on the hybrid, to try and utilise that and pull away as they go across the line. Once again, looking back, Hill down to second place with Camish, Sutton, Cook. Rowbottom ahead of Cook now on that lap as well, and then Morgan, Turkington, Taylor Smith and Chilton.
So can Jake Hill fight back? What about Camish? Because he's getting much closer to the two cars in front. Then we got the damaged Sutton car, Rowbottom, Cook, Morgan and Turkington all in one long line. Then a big gap back to Aaron Taylor Smith. Tom Chilton has gone backwards in this race. Rob Huff, then Aidan Moffat and Mikey Doble side by side with Ronan Pearson trying to get involved as well. He's just gone round the outside of Mikey Doble to gain a position as they try and get themselves into that all-important top 12 where they may get a chance to have a reverse grid pole position.
You mentioned Colin Turkington was catching the back of Adam Morgan. He is on the back of his teammate right now as they go through Goodwood down towards Village. The backwards facing camera shows Turkington cutting underneath Adam Morgan. Adam won't force the issue too much with Colin there. He knows that the longer, bigger picture is very much in front of them both just now as they dance the very narrow ribbon of tarmac that Thruxton seems when you're doing 130 miles per hour through Church. It's wider than a motorway anywhere in the UK, but at that speed it's very narrow. Through the club chicane they come. More applause from Tom Ingram as Tingers pulls away at the front from Jake Hill, and in that third place still Dan Camish looking really good just now as Aidan Moffat and Mikey Doble. Was that Aidan Moffat and Mikey Doble who saw coming through the chicane there? Difficult to catch that one actually. It was all happening so quickly as they come round towards the complex.
Yeah, we're trying to look out for that battle, but Camish is right with Hill now, so Jake Hill's already lost one position during the course of the previous lap. Will Dan Camish see that and try and make the most of it? Yeah, so here's Moffat, who's ahead of Pearson and Doble. So Doble's dropped back, and Moffat and Pearson, the two Scotsmen, battling over that 12th position. The Toyota ahead of the Hyundai at this stage. Meanwhile, the race leaders, I can see already coming out of Goodwood up in towards Village, and Tom Ingram, who's taken the lead, is just driving away now with those extra hybrid boost laps. It's made so much difference to his race, so he's been able to overtake, and now he's able to pull away.
Yeah, he's still got 2 laps of hybrid in his pocket. Jake Hill has 1. Dan Camish has none. But he has flashing lights, and that flashing lights, well, he's putting them on just now to try and upset Jake Hill. If you don't have hybrid, just flash your lights. It might work as well as they come through the club chicane. Tingram looking very neat and tidy now. That's what Tingers has got to do. He's got to now start thinking, don't damage the car, don't clip a curb, pass the ride height check. He's probably hoping Ash Sutton doesn't pass the ride height check. That's how racing drivers operate. But everybody else comes through as well. Still Moffat, Pearson and Doble all together. Behind that, Sam Osborne, Darrell De Leon going through. Chris Smiley struggling this weekend. We're just ahead of Scott Sumpton. And then we're right at the very back, Nick Halstead.
I just wonder if that bit of splitter has fallen off of Ash Sutton's car now, and because it seems to be going a little bit better. He hasn't got all the challenges from behind which he had
half
a
of
little
it
bit earlier.
The left-hand side of it, I think, had come off.
Yeah, so that's probably good news, isn't it, from his point of view for the post-race checks?
Well, yes and no, because the downside effect to that is the splitter's such a big thing. It comes all the way back to almost where the driver's bum is, the legs. It's a huge, huge area. So that will have a detrimental effect to what the car feels like. The one good thing for him, Josh, it won't be banging away anymore. It won't be worrying him inside the car. As we see a long camera view back to, I think that is the Mikey Doble car, just going back ahead of Ronan Pearson there. Good move from Doble as we look back from the LKQ Euro car parts car with Synetic Toyota off the lovely Aidan Moffat there, who will be heading back north with myself later on this evening. But there goes Tingram across the line and he's looking very, very good. It looks like it's the top three are now set. Can Robo do anything about his defending reigning champion teammate who's ahead of him? You would have to think, as a misjudge of the chicane for Rob Huff, Josh, you'd have to think that Robo's car must be in better condition and handling than that of Sutton.
Ingram's just locked up, by the way, the race leader. And just thinking back to you talking about the chicane, remember earlier in the race, was it not Tom Ingram who went the wrong side of the tyre stack?
It certainly was.
Hopefully for him, there's not a question mark hanging over his race. He's one of many drivers that are getting a black and white driving standards flag for track limit abuse. So they've just got to be a little bit careful about where they're placing their car for the remaining laps.
Yeah, car 32, car 12, 27, 40, 1, 12, 18, 27 and 40 again. So there's lots of slaps on the wrist for some of these drivers out there just now, as Josh Cook coming under increasing pressure from Turks now as they make their way round towards the back of the circuit through Village in towards Church. Josh Cook with that Toyota a little bit slidey as they go through all the corners now, but no messages on screen about any issues with Tom Ingram cutting that chicane, so that's one thing that we do see. It was side by side in towards it. Race direction can deal with that after the race is done, but right now we call what we see on the road, and we've got to say a look up in towards the complex last time round, but Tom Ingram looking pretty much sensational at the front of this in true Ingram form, if I may say.
Yeah, he's driving really well, isn't he? He's got the pace, he got to the front, he got past a number of cars. He's got that great move to take the lead away from Jake Hill at mid-distance, and now he's just pacing it around a second to the car behind. Now that Colin Turkington's ahead of Adam Morgan, well, he's right on terms with Josh Cook. He's bouncing over the curbs through Cobb Corner, then right through Seagrave, slides the BMW 330e M Sport out of the corner and up towards Noble. So for sixth position, Josh Cook under plenty of pressure from four-time champion Colin Turkington.
Good spot, Alan Hyde. The left-hand side of that splitter has detached itself. You can still see it vibrating on the other side of the car, but it looks like it's kind of attached to the bottom of that front Napa Racing Ford bumper. So that's not too bad. But initially, when that was vibrating, it would sound like the world was ending to Ash Sutton and said that. I'd be thinking, what is that noise? And pretty quickly, we'd probably determine what was actually wrong. And as it breaks off, that'd be good. But here comes Robo. Robo's got more pace as they come up and in towards Club. Good move from Dan Rowbottom. Hold it together. Oh, Sutton's not going to give up easily, but Dan Rowbottom gets through and takes his teammate as they go through, and he used teammate with the fingers in the air, as we always do, as they make their way across the line now. Robo goes up into fourth place.
So I wonder if that damage is still affecting Sutton, or was it the hybrid boost again that just gave the power to Rowbottom to go through. Just behind them, Josh Cook versus Colin Turkington continues on, but Turkington hasn't found a way past the driver who's won more times at Thruxton than anybody else, Josh Cook, with those 10 victories over the years. So he turns his way out of the complex once again. But for the race leader, Tom Ingram, he's 1.2 seconds ahead of Jake Hill as he turns his way up through Village.
Yeah, majestic stuff from Tingram just now, making the car do the work for him, not forcing the car to go around the track, letting the car use the track it wants to use. I do like that style of his driving. He's not forcing it tight at corners. He's opening up the steering lock, and white line to white line stuff at a lot of places for Tom Ingram just now. As you see, a 1.2 second lead at the front, still with 2 laps of hybrid boost in his pocket should he need it. None for Jake Hill, 0 for Dan Camish, 2 for Robo and 1 for Ash Sutton. But Sutton really not at the races right now as Josh Cook up the inside holding Colin Turkington at bay. Turks has really come alive towards the end of this race, and that's making me smile up here in the commentary box. He's also on the hybrid to try and get out of the corner and back onto the rear end of Cook as they go through Allard and head towards the complex.
Where again Tom Ingram locks a rear brake, I think that is, as he slows the car down. He's going really quickly. And Rowbottom's made a mistake as well. He hopped over the curb, which the car didn't like, and it just spat him out a bit wide. It didn't really cost him too much in reality, because he'd pulled away from Ash Sutton, but Rowbottom pushing on. But what about Colin Turkington versus Josh Cook? Well, Cook is still ahead as they go out of Seagrave and up towards Noble Corner. How are those two drivers looking on hybrid laps to go, Duncan?
Yeah, hybrid laps to go for those two guys. You say Cook still has 2 laps and Turks has 1 lap. So advantage this point in the race, you'd say, to Josh Cook. As Cook makes his way round the back, he's on the hybrid just now, trying to boost away from Turkington, going down towards Village and in towards Church. The big screen shows that on what we've just talked about, in picture on the big screen. If you can see one, shows Tom Ingram at work in the behind the wheel of the lovely Accelerate Hyundai. He's so good in that car. He looks good. The team's almost built around Tom Ingram, and it works perfectly. Remember, the team haven't won here in the British Touring Car Championship yet. They've won in other classes, but never won in that car. So this will be a big moment for the team and Tom Ingram. Final lap of the race.
Yeah, he's turning through with a much bigger lead. These last few laps, he's just been pushing on and really driving clear of Jake Hill, who perhaps has Dan Camish a little bit closer to him, but I think Camish needs to be that bit closer again if he's going to get past Jake Hill on this last lap. Meanwhile, there's been a change for 10th position because Rob Huff has got himself up ahead of Tom Chilton. So while Tom Chilton's not been having a good race, his teammate, he's been having a great race.
And that, Josh, is despite having quite a bit of grass in the front scoop of Rob Huff's car.
Oh dear, Huffy's been excursion. He's going to have to watch that doesn't come back to bite him, as we see in garage footage now of Tom Ingram. Then we see a massive Tom Ingram on the screen as he looks good coming up towards the club chicane. A little bit of history about to be made here, ladies and gentlemen. You're about to see Tom Ingram take his 30th ever touring car victory in the Quick for British Touring Car Championship. The hands going there, the applause from the crowd, and you're also seeing the first win for Team Accelerate Bristol Street Motors as a touring car team at Thruxton. Tingers wins race number 2, and he looks good. Jake Hill comes across the line for 2nd place, and Dan Camish, a very, very well-deserved 3rd place. Dan Rowbottom, his teammate, follows him across in 4th, ahead of Ash Sutton, the other Napa Ford, in 5th place. Josh Cook, Colin Turkington gets ahead of Morgan on the last lap. Turks overhauls Adam Morgan on the last lap. No, he didn't. He was trying to overhaul Cook, sorry. He got past Morgan a few laps before that. Aaron Taylor-Smith in 9th, and Rob Huff comes home. A very grassy Rob Huff, as you say, Alan, comes home in 10th place. Tom Chilton slips down to 11th. Ronan Pearson got ahead of Aidan Moffat right at the very end as well. 12th and 13th with Mikey Doble on 14th. Sam Osborne, Chris Smiley 16th. Darryl De Leon, Scott Sumpton, Nick Halstead in the background crosses the line now, and Andrew Watson, the only DNF man there. And Ingram looks emotional coming round it. Is that sweat or is that tears in the face of Tom Ingram right now? Probably having a bit of a chat with the TV guys. He'll get back into the pit lane and catch up with Alan Hyde. But there you go, the first victory for Team Accelerate Bristol Street Motors in the touring cars at Thruxton, and also Tom Ingram's 30th win. And why is he number 100 this weekend? Because it's his 100th race with the team. It's the team's 100th race in touring cars, and it's the 100th anniversary for Bristol Street Motors. What a way to do it in race number 2 here at Thruxton. Tingers on top, and we can't wait to get him and Alan Hyde on the air having a bit of a chat. But what do you think of that, Josh?
That was a great race, wasn't it? We had some really close racing in the earlier race. Perhaps there wasn't quite so many overtakes, but it certainly was in that one. And I think that really shows this new for 2024 extra power that the hybrid boost allows for. I think that it really shows how well it can work here at Thruxton, being able to have that bit of extra power for those who start a bit further down on the grid in race number 2. They can use it to accelerate out of Church Corner. We saw that's where Tom Ingram managed to get up alongside Jake Hill, and then he had to do the late braking move, and it was a great one. And I think that's probably one of the best BTCC races we've had at Thruxton over the last few years. Yeah,
Tingram coming round flashing the headlights. He's only got one working headlight. It's like he's winking at us all, actually, as he comes into the... And I quite like that. I quite like a wink from Tingram, you know. Don't tell him that, Heidi.
I think they were both working. So obviously he's worn one right out on this lap.
From a distance here, there was one a lot brighter than the other. But there's Tingers picking up as much pickup as he can on those tyres to make sure he passes the right height. I'm going to keep my eyes, Alan, very much on the Toka technical check and see what happens with Ash Sutton when he comes in there. But Tingers comes in, goes into the applause of the Toka technical team and all the marshals. That was really a good drive from him. Solid drive, and that's what you need in race number 2 after having a good race number 1. Let's see what happens for race number 3 in the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Championship lead for Jake Hill from Ash Sutton. Only 3 points in it now. That has quickly disappeared off our screen, but it's very much to play for.
And an important result there for Jake Hill to take the championship lead with Ash Sutton a little bit further down the order. So Jake Hill, who came into the weekend 11 points behind, has now pushed himself right into the lead after round 11 of the championship.
Hasn't he just? Yeah, a very important point that you've just made there. Now, I see who is lined up. Camish is lined up. Ash Sutton, does he have to? I think Ash Sutton's he's gone straight down. He's not getting checked in that Toka area. It's the top three are in there just now, so that's that almost a bit of a godsend for I have to say Ash Sutton, because I don't think he'd have passed that, Alan. Mind you, the bit that was low is now halfway around the back of the circuit. Aaron Taylor-Smith has stopped on pit entrance. Should we be bothered about that? Well, yes, a little bit, because he's rolling almost back at a tiny amount, but just can't get that car to refire back up. But Alan Hyde, a great touring car race here as Tom Ingram makes his way in towards your winner's enclosure.
Superb. He's going to be very, very happy with this, like the crowd. Just heard the roar when they saw that move. Exceptional. He brings the car up towards the number one board down in Park Fairmate. The big bowl is here with the numbered balls inside it, which is standing by for the draw for the final race, and you can hear the excitement in the background already. He's going through the stop procedure, climbs out of the car, and it is 100th race for Accelerate. Takes his 30th BTCC win, takes the applause of the crowd. Cool, calm, collected, big breath as he gets out of the car, and there's his mum. She's absolutely beside herself, and he goes over to mum, gives her a huge hug, and Annette is absolutely delighted. And then Bruce, his father, he's there as well. Emotional thing that Bruce cannot bear to watch the races, and how cool is that? Absolutely brilliant. The look of joy on his mum's face is something to savour. And then his girlfriend, his partner, Laura, they have a word between the two of them, and she is chuffed to bits as well. It was quite a race. Are they? Oh no, they're maybe they're not involved in an ad break at the moment. But Tom Ingram goes over towards Louise Goodman, and I think Louise is going to be doing the interview straight away down in Park Fairmate. So yep, they're on air. So I'm not going to get the first word with Tom Ingram, but I might be able to get a word with Jake Hill or Dan Camish, who also appear down in Park Fairmate. I was just so happy for Tom and for his mum and dad that are down here. Mum is absolutely beaming from ear to ear, and if you could bottle that enjoyment, that happiness, then it would be something to savour. Tom's about to do his television interview, and Dan Camish has just got out of the car. I'm going to have a word with Jake. I tell you what, Jake, that was a mighty move that Ingram pulled on you there. Did you think that was coming?
Oh, it was, it was just you can't defend against the hybrid.
You can't do it.
Can't do it. He had good speed.
Yeah. Do what you need to do. I know you need to. So just let Jake have a moment to get himself comfy. There we go.
Yeah, he had good speed, but you can't win against the hybrid when it's like that, And listen, that's exactly what it was designed to do, right? Sometimes it goes for you, and other times it goes against you like that. So I'm still really pleased. The P2, we are now leading the British Touring Car.
I was going to say, have you seen the points?
I've heard them. Which just, even if it's for a brief while, it puts a smile on your face, and after the comeback we've had since Brands, it's a really strong showing. So, yeah, really pleased with everyone. We're Laser Tools Racing, MB Motorsport. They gave me a good BM today. So, I'm enjoying it.
Well done, Jake. Well done. Congratulations. Off to Louise Goodman